Stephen, what do you know about 3-month curse in dating?
Ooh, is this a spooky episode?
Oh, we should have done it for Halloween. We're too early. Well, I mean, people put up their Halloween decorations, stores have their Halloween merch months. Basically, it's already there, isn't it? This is a Halloween episode. Now, you and David were rummaging around on Reddit, like the little Reddit monkeys you are, and you found this particular post about the 3-month curse.
Yes.
This person says, "Give me hope, please. Not one to post that often, but I'm feeling particularly disheartened and could do with some hope and happy stories to read. I'm straight, 32-year-old female. My last long-term relationship was 8 years ago. Admittedly, I had some pretty major, some traumatic life events that I've had to work through. Have worked hard on my self-esteem and mindset, had lots of therapy, moved to a new city, started my dream career. I am so happy and proud of the life I've created. I don't need a relationship to be happy, but I would love to meet a like-minded person to share my lovely life with. I'm quite a romantic, affectionate person. It's that aspect that I miss. Regardless of whether I meet a guy in person or online, we never get past the 3-month mark. Hence, le curse. No matter the person, the approach, the pace, the circumstances, it never lasts longer than that. I'm aware it's common these days, particularly in online dating, but it is just so deflating. I'm trying not to take it personally, and I'm making light of it by calling it le curse. But it's beginning.
Did they say le curse?
No, I just added it.
Okay.
Because I have a French wife. But it's beginning to feel like a curse. I would love to hear anyone's stories who has experienced something similar, who eventually broke said curse and is in a happy long-term relationship now. Just need some hope before I give up completely.
Well, you guys broke the curse, and now you have a baby coming.
I don't think I ever experienced a 3-month curse.
I certainly
experienced like an 18-month, like a 2-year curse.
I was going to say, I think I more commonly had relationships end about 12 to 18 months.
I was a real 18-month guy.
Oh, that 18-monther is...
Yeah.
Why 18 months?
When I had doubts and I knew it wasn't the right relationship, I didn't act on it once I knew. I didn't listen to myself.
I think like 3 months is deciding... we are going to go past. You've probably been on a few dates by then, maybe even like 7 or 8, slept over a few times, seeing each other more regularly. And I think then someone says, hold on, is this a thing? And then the 18-month one is more like, is this person going to be my partner? Should we move in? Do I want to go there? Do I want to give them that kind of like certainty? Or do I actually now want to bail? And I feel like they're two like parachute moments. 18
months is definitely a parachute moment, I think. The sort of 18 months to 2 years, you're sort of like, are we doing this?
Yeah, because 3 months you haven't had enough to actually see everything about who they are. You haven't seen all their bad habits. You haven't seen what they're like to be with long term. 3 months is where you're like, am I happy enough? Do I like this person enough to actually start investing now and be exclusive and meet all their friends and do all the boyfriend-girlfriend stuff?
So you think that's the curse?
Well, I think the curse is that people find that's the moment where they're most likely to get someone say, I don't see this going anywhere, or they just drop off, or they fade out.
But 3 months is kind of a long time to do that, don't you guys think?
I think it depends how much you've been seeing each other in that 3 months. But I do think it's the time when, if you haven't already, you really start talking about relationships.
The thing is, it's possible to hide your intentions on both sides for the first 3 months. That's what I think. If you're the person who wants a relationship badly, it's possible for you to sort of shield someone from those intentions for 3 months while you just have a good time in dating.
And play it cool.
If you're someone who definitely doesn't want a relationship, it's possible for you to hide that truth from someone for 3 months while you play romantic, while you play,
house.
So it's on both sides, it's quite easy to just ignore differences in intentions during that time, because you're both, it's like you both have a license. That's the way I see it. It's like you have a license to not be heavy because you're just seeing where it goes and having a good time, and it's not the time for that yet. And they have a license to not be honest about the fact that they don't want a relationship because they're just seeing where it goes and having a fun time. And, so it's like, 3 months in is that time where usually needs show up. Like someone actually starts thinking, I'm kind of starting to get not happy not knowing what this is.
And people are asking you, so are you with them?
Yeah. Yeah, you're starting talking to your friends and you keep saying, oh, I'm seeing this person. And they're like, so are they your boyfriend? Are they your girlfriend? What's going on? And you're like, oh, I don't. Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, we're seeing each other all the time and so on. And then you go away and a seed of doubt has been planted in your mind. And so now you go back to the person and you're like, so, it was just my friends were asking the other day, like, about, like what we are. And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure, and we had that conversation. So what are we?
And then it ended. I relate to that. That happened to me.
Le curse.
The curse has happened to me.
Le curse.
Le curse. But also I think if the person doesn't want a relationship and they are coming across somebody who's playing it cool, it's kind of the perfect thing, because then the person who's playing it cool isn't necessarily, like expressing their needs along the way. And then it's coming all at once in this kind of 3 month mark, which is why everything then kind of falls apart at that point, because it's the first time you actually express, by the way, I really like you and I think this could be something. Do you agree? Do you like me too?
And the more avoidant you are, and I don't mean avoidance just in the sense of they can be avoidant in the sense that they just don't want a relationship and they don't want to get close, but you can be avoidant in the sense that you don't want to have a hard conversation about what this is, or you're afraid to get an answer you don't want. And the more you're both avoidant in that sense, you communicating and them with commitment, the more the 3 month curse can be the 6 month curse or the 9 month curse.
Well, we did put up a poll. We asked, at what point do you see your relationships most commonly end? Less than a month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. And, there is something to be said for this curse, le curse. Because
would curse be le or la in French?
It would be le, but I can't think of the word for it.
Curse.
It's not curse.
So there is something to le curse.
There is something to le curse, because 17% of people said less than a month, 20% of people said 6 months, 27% of people said 1 year, and 37% of people said 3 months.
Wow.
3 months, le curse.
Le curse.
Interesting.
So what is it? What is this? I actually don't intuitively, because when we were doing this episode, I was like, this makes intuitive sense, and I actually believe it to be true that a lot of relationships end around that time. But we were really trying to think about like what actually makes it so, right? Like obviously the need stuff, not communicating your needs early on enough, and not doing it in such a way that by the time it either organically evolves or you're able to have the conversation of what are we without it ending. But what other reasons do you think there's this real sticking point in that time?
Well, I truly believe that those are the big ones, because it's a key that's a key make or break point, is when you actually see if your intentions are aligned. And you can kind of call that a curse, or you can just call it one of the most difficult moments in dating.
It could just be a natural filter.
Yeah, like
you have a filter in the first date, you have a filter beyond that. Are you going to go on a second date? And then the next filter is, we're sleeping together and are we going to be a thing?
That's such a good point.
First date filter is, am I attracted to you, usually?
And are you attracted to me?
Yeah, and are you attracted to me?
Green light.
Green light. Do we enjoy spending time together? Green light for date 2 and 3 and 4. But there's like at a certain point, it's are our intentions aligned? And at that point, it's easy for someone to bail. Now, look, you might say, because maybe this person is saying that the curse is not just that we get to 3 months in and I discover they don't want a relationship, and that I do, and they'd be happy to keep seeing me if I was willing to compromise on that and just see them casually, but I'm not. So then it ends. But I'm not necessarily reading that. She says we never get past the 3-month mark. No matter what, it never lasts longer than that. She doesn't say why. And I'd be curious to know why that is. Because if someone is not wanting to continue seeing you past the 3-month mark, then you, and you're like, they're not even trying to have the halfway house. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to see me anymore. Then I do think you have to kind of look at other factors.
Well, we actually asked people as a follow-up question to our poll, whether or not if they, they had a specific time where things seemed to go wrong, whether they could see a pattern emerging from their relationships, like what was going on. And someone said, which, really kind of speaks to what you guys are saying, the pattern they noticed is when they finally ask for more / express their needs, they pull away or say that they can't give more, which is interesting because it's the fact that you're expressing it at that moment in time. That's suggestive of the fact that the moment after 3 months that I finally express my needs, that person doesn't reciprocate. So in theory, it's if you're expressing your needs early on before the 3-month mark, you're probably going to be filtering out people sooner than that. And then you wouldn't see it as a curse at that point.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's one of the answers to this is that are you sharing thoughts and ideas and intentions and getting curious about each other along the way? Or are you sort of going, that's all a conversation for another day. Let me just spend the next however many weeks and months enjoying this person's company. And I do think it's really it's tricky because if you're seeing someone, let's just take a scenario. You're seeing someone, I think a good cadence to be seeing someone that you like is twice a week in the first 3 to 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And by the way, by the time you get to week 3, as long as you're not a long distance thing, and that gets tricky because then it's like we saw each other on week 1 and then they were away for the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then we saw it. That's different. That kind of messes up the cadence, which is why long distance itself slows down. It should slow down a relationship. Mm-hmm. If you're in the same town, you have a nice date with someone. You really enjoy each other's company. It was fun. You saw them on a Friday. When's the next time you're going to see them? I mean, you might be the kind of person that says, let's do something next Friday. I know for me in that scenario, I'd be like, if I like someone, I'd kind of want to see them tomorrow. I won't push for that because, I don't want to be too full on, but tomorrow would be the best time to see someone I just had a great time with. And if not, it would be like, I'm kind of half joking, but not. But in real terms...
No, you're not joking. Because when you and I were first dating, I'm the same as you. And we were both like, see you tomorrow? See you tomorrow? See you tomorrow? And then we just saw each other every single day for
You're both
4 or 5
little attached
weeks.
things, aren't you?
But listen, I'm not saying that that's
don't
right.
Don't do that, though. That's not good modeling.
No, but my the point I'm making is that there's nothing if you had a great date with someone, you don't have to wait a week to see them. You could be like, you had a great date on a Friday.
For sure.
What are you doing the next few nights? We should do something again, and if it's, I'm free Monday night, let's do something Monday night. And if you had a great time there, you'd probably be like, I'm around this weekend if you wanted to hang. You might see them again that week. So already you're in a cadence of a couple of times a week. And you might be getting a cadence of more than that. So that's okay. Now you're seeing each other over a 4-week period. Let's say you've seen each other 8 times in 4 weeks. And you're starting to that's enough time to start to get a real sense of each other. It's not enough time to know the character of a person because character, as we always say, character gets revealed over time.
Well, 3 months is long enough for the mask to drop a bit.
For 3 months.
And you start seeing little cracks.
If you're seeing someone regularly, 3 months is definitely enough for the mask to drop or for the mask to slip.
And that's when the avoidant will be like, they're not perfect like I thought.
Well, that's true. And that's you're kind of bringing in another point here, which is like, if you are dating the kind of person who isn't ready for a real relationship, 3 months is enough time for that person to find something wrong with you. And someone who's not ready for a real relationship will bail when they find anything that's not ideal.
Or it doesn't perfectly suit their needs right now, like what they want right now.
Yeah, there's some form of compromise to be made, or they, there's a little thing that is like not exactly the way you'd want it to be, and you like just find a way to bail because you're like, nah, this isn't it.
As some of you guys know by now, I'm pregnant, and I wanted to share with you something that I've been taking throughout my pregnancy, and that is prenatal vitamins. I actually started taking these prenatal vitamins 1.5 years before getting pregnant. And the reason I started taking them was because of the hair, skin, and nail benefits I read online. So I did some research into prenatal vitamins, and Wenatal are the best of the best. The average prenatal vitamin has around 12 nutrients. Prenatal has 24, and each of them have a very specific function. And I don't just take their prenatal vitamins, I actually also take their magnesium glycinate to help me sleep at night, and their fish oil tablets for brain function. So I'm a really big fan of this product. Another reason I absolutely love it is because they make product for both men and women. So if you're on a journey of trying to get pregnant, it supports fertility for both men and women, which I think is really cool. And finally, one of the best things about this product, in my opinion, is their packaging. I really, really love their packaging. It sparks joy. It makes me want to take it every day. And having something that sparks joy and makes me want to take it every day and helps me build that habit is half the battle when it comes to supplements, in my opinion. If you guys want to try these for yourself, whether or not you're trying to get pregnant in the near future or you just want the hair, skin, and nail benefits, you can go over to wenatal.com/lovelife, and by using that link with your first subscription, you also get 1 month's free supply of magnesium worth $35. So head over to wenatal.com/lovelife. I really think you guys are going to love this product. One more time, that's wenatal.com/lovelife. What is the most petty reason that you guys have found to go, no, not for me? You once shared the rat queen story, but that's actually a pretty big thing, so I get that. That's not petty, that's like...
I mean, it was very judgmental.
It was judgmental, but it's not petty. It's not like...
Not a day goes by when I don't think we could have worked.
He says to his 6-month pregnant wife.
This was, for anyone who doesn't know this was a story of me having gone on a date with someone and learning that they had rats, and me kind of just being like...
As pets.
They
didn't live in a filth den.
Yeah, right. And by the way,
it's an important disclosure.
Lots of people have rats that they're trying to take, they're trying to figure out how to get rid of. So she kept rats as pets, and I, for whatever reason at the time, was just a bit like, oh, I don't think this is for me. I didn't say that, but I just, we didn't see each other again. That was after date 1. And I do think that was a judgmental thing of me. But I was young. I was not ready for a real relationship. I was finding any old excuse to rule someone out. I think I did that a lot. I think I when I was younger, I found all sorts of superficial, stupid reasons to not give it a proper try.
I agree. Same.
And I think part of that is just that, almost that feeling of, I don't know, when you're at a stage of your life where you're not yourself taking the process seriously, and when you don't think that you're in any kind of a hurry. And so there's almost I think a slight arrogance and an entitlement to that stage of the process where you kind of feel entitled to just everything that you want.
Yeah.
And then if someone doesn't represent everything that you want, you sort of just go, not, I don't think this is it.
I feel like in 20-year-old this is from a subreddit, Dating Over 30, but if I see a lot of videos from people who are like 20 and dating, and it seems to be like even more ruthless early on.
Oh, 20s dating is ruthless.
Where it's just like, they want to know income first. They want to like, status, job, compare, height, match up. And what do you do? Where's your prospects? And I'm like, it's like before they've even gone on the date.
Do you reckon 22-year-old you would have found a reason to sort of like just, I reckon you would have had a bit of fun with me. But do you reckon like you would have found a reason to not settle at that point?
Oh, God, that's so hard
Don't
to
answer
say. No, I think, don't answer that.
I don't need to know.
No, I think, I think might have made me go like, we're not quite the right match. Is that I think
this is already so painful.
I think I might have thought you were too serious, like, because you like work really hard and you're like, which I am the same now. But I think when I was 22, I was just like not about that life.
You don't know. This is very triggering for me.
Matt literally a minute ago said there's not a day that goes by that he doesn't think about Rat Girl and whether it would have worked.
No.
And now he's getting all sensitive.
No, but I'm the same as you now.
Someone once actually said to me a very long time ago when I asked why we broke up, that it was because I was boring.
No, but I don't think you're boring. Okay,
you were a serious man from a young age, and young fun Audrey, she was at festivals, she was partying, she was in the London club scene.
I would have tried. No, actually.
I mean, yeah.
I also
big time.
Stephen has his image of me. It's hilarious. But I did.
No, I
did.
been
She
on
was the toast of London, and you were in your apartment trying to make YouTube videos.
That is not true.
He was more into the club scene.
I could have done the clubs.
The
festivals weren't for me.
Yeah, the festivals.
So I did a couple, and then I just was like, I think I'm done. Like
That's fair enough.
I didn't. The toilets, the tents.
It's a lifestyle choice.
Sweaty armpits everywhere. It wasn't my thing.
That's fair enough. But I think that would be the reason why it wouldn't have worked.
And that was not. Yeah. Well, you know what?
Yeah, but you probably would have gone, oh, she's not serious. She's just like...
Probably.
She's just like having fun, partying. She's not taking her life seriously enough.
Yeah, that's what I would have been like. Guys, we are back in the UK right now, and we are staying, me and Audrey, in my mum's guest room. And I love my mum's house very much. But I'll tell you what my mum's guest room does not have. The silky bamboo sheets that we use from Cozy Earth when we are back in our home in Los Angeles. And we haven't been sleeping as well. And there's even been a little bit of beef between me and Audrey on our Instagram stories, reflecting to the world the fact that we're not sleeping as well. We use Cozy Earth's sheets in our home in LA, and we sleep so much better. We have committed in the last year to bringing you more of the things that we love, and these bed sheets are one of the things that we love. I also, frankly, just love sleeping well. I have come to really, really value sleep at this point in my life more than ever. It is one of my pillars of mental health. And so anything that helps me sleep better is part of one of the most important parts of my mental health. The Cozy Earth bed sheets are that for us. You can get 40% off of these sheets at CozyEarth.com by using the code LOVELIFE at checkout. We've also been collecting other things from the website because we've been using this code for ourselves too. We got this blanket that's so soft. It's called the Bubble Cuddle Blanket. We're actually putting it in our baby's room, which is super cute. So whether it's a gift for yourself or for somebody else, go grab something today at CozyEarth.com, and don't forget to use the code LOVELIFE at checkout for an amazing 40% discount. It really is a big discount, which is why me and Audrey have been using it so much for ourselves. So go check it out, CozyEarth.com. Now, back to the episode.
One point I do want to say is you shouldn't take these that personally. Like, it can feel really personal, but it can often just be like, this is the sign that you weren't matching. And it does kind of take a couple months of dating sometimes to completely... It's like, it's better that it's a 3-month curse than the 8-month curse. 8 months is a long time, but if someone's getting to this stage, they're actually doing a lot right. You've got people who want to see you for 3 months. If someone's saying to me, I can't even get on a second date with someone, that's a much trickier problem than someone saying I go on 3 months, but then they realize they don't want a relationship. There's more to, say, okay, you're doing a lot right. You're getting attraction. You're connecting with someone. You are interesting enough that people want to be in your company for a while. You are good at, displaying your best traits, that someone's intrigued or wants to sleep with you or whatever. So I do think there's so much we do just take rejection super personally, and especially here it can feel really acute because you might have slept with them, get to know them a bit, and it can really feel like what happened.
Well, what I will say is 3 months is enough time, I think, to feel like you really, really like someone, even love them.
Yeah.
So I do think that from that perspective, it's tough.
It is, and you've thought about maybe a future already, especially if you've been together, a lot through that time.
I do think, though, there's something that should be said around this, which we haven't said, which is 3 months is also enough time for someone to get a real sense of the fact that we don't believe in ourselves, or that we don't think that we're a catch, or that we truly doubt our ability to hold on to someone.
That's interesting.
And human beings we need our certainty to be directed and amplified. We're looking for people around us to enhance our sense of certainty.
True.
And when we there are not that many people on earth who have such a strong sense of their own judgment, their own what they want and what they're all about and what they like when they find it. There are very few people who are like that, who almost in a vacuum just know what they want and they see it and they're like, yep, I know, I don't need any other opinions. Very few people operate like that. What happens for most people is that they like someone, or they get those feelings like, oh, that was a fun date, I enjoyed that. And then they may not even be fully consciously aware of that. They're just like, it flew by and I seemed to feel comfortable and I had a nice time. And we're almost looking now for a validation of that feeling. And so sometimes the person themselves validates that feeling. They might, in the course of texting us between dates, maybe they say something playfully cheeky or flirtatious. You might reach out to them and say, let's say someone reaches out to you and says, where are you? Or what are you up to? And you text them back and you say, why, miss me? In that moment, it's like amplification of their certainty, because you're teaching them that you have a certainty about yourself, that you believe in your own appeal enough to make a joke like that. And you're joking, but not joking. And so when they feel that, they go, ooh, I'm validated in thinking that I wanted to speak to this person. They're valid. If I said, what are you up to? And you were like, oh my God, I'm so glad you texted me. I hadn't heard from you. They might be going, oh, you haven't amplified my certainty.
That's really interesting.
In fact, you've stoked my uncertainty because you seem uncertain. But if someone says, you say, what are you up to? And someone says, why, miss me? Like little smiley face. All of a sudden you've amplified their certainty. It could come from, sometimes it's other things. Sometimes you show a picture of someone to your friends and you're like, I went on a date last night, and they're like, how was it? And you're like, yeah, I had a fun time. They show me a picture, and then your friends see a picture and they're like, oh, I bet you did. They're gorgeous. You go, oh, amplification of certainty. Or that person, they meet your friends for the first time and your friends have a really good time with them and like, he's really cool or she's really cool. Like, I've really enjoyed her company. Amplification of certainty. All these little moments. Sometimes the amplification of certainty comes from us having a certain standard where we say like, hey, I really want to see you this weekend, but, you know, I haven't really heard from you since the last date. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm doing my thing and I'm hanging out, you know, with different people and whatever. And I hadn't heard from you. So I didn't really know we were still on. You know, oh, this person has standards, amplification of certainty. And the point I'm making is that in 3 months, you can either do a lot to amplify someone's certainty about you and a lot to hurt someone's certainty about you. None of that is necessarily based on, you know, when people say like, I have a great life, I have a great career, I have hobbies, I have friends, I have this, I have that, I've done therapy, I've got my this. Like when people do that, they're kind of like going through a laundry list of things that on paper mean that you have kind of got your life figured out. But it's entirely possible to have all of those things and still really have someone's certainty deteriorate around you, because what you sub-communicate beneath all of that is that you are not certain of yourself or your ability to hold on to someone.
We want to be with someone who on some level knows they're a catch. Like you say, that gives us comfort and certainty. Okay, they know they're worth something, and I believe that. And
also not just they know, because you can actually be with someone who is a catch but has self-worth issues, but you want to be told externally that you're with a catch, if that makes sense. Like you want that to be validated externally, because I think the point you made about the friends, I think is really interesting. You know, I often think this, it's like if you really like somebody and you're trying to make a good impression, win the people that they love over.
Yep.
Like that is like such an easy way to have almost like this amazing PR campaign going on in the background for you.
We went to, early in our, like when we were just starting out, we went to see a friend of ours, or a friend of mine who's become a friend of yours. And it's a family that we know in LA. And we went over to them. It's a husband and wife and their kids were there. And I remember Audrey was at the table with us. And at one point you went to like play with the little girl. And I was at the table with just our two friends, John and Amy. And John looked at me and he said, "You can't let this one go." Like,
and that's why he married us.
He ended up marrying us. But he had known you for 20 minutes or 30 minutes at that point, I think, maybe an hour. We'd hung out and ate lunch. And he just looked at me and he was like, you can't let this one go. And Amy, his wife, like looked at me and she was so funny. She was like, I mean, she's like the one, right? Like, she's the one. She was like, I don't want to overstep, but like, this is like, and that was a huge amplification of certainty for me, because these are two people I love and trust, who I really value their opinions. And it would be nice to say that stuff didn't matter and that it didn't make any difference, but it did make a difference to have people say that to me. I was like, oh, that feeling I'm having is not just, I'm not just having that in isolation in my own mind. Like, people get it. They're validating what I'm feeling. So that amplification of certainty is a real thing. And we can, I think it's kind of an important practical lesson to realize that the people around someone that they love and trust are important people to truly connect with when you get the chance. Not in a way where you're overdoing it, that can backfire, but in a way where you just are showing up as your best self. But even more than that, the point I'm making is that we can be our worst advocate. We can actually do more to harm someone's certainty than anyone else, by the subtle ways that we question ourselves, or where the relationship is going, or whether we're good enough, or, we give off these like micro cues that start to make someone doubt themselves and their feelings. Mm-hmm. Our job it's almost like from the day we meet someone, our job is we have to see it as our job, not to be a passive kind of a passenger of the attraction, but it is actually our job to be an agent in amplifying their sense of certainty about us. And we have agency in being able to do that. Let us know what you think of le curse. How would you say the 3-month curse?
I'm going to look up curse. Hang on.
No, it's curse.
Oh oui, malédiction. La malédiction de 3 mois.
La malédiction?
Malédiction.
Malédiction?
Malédiction.
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 This is fun for the listeners. Little French lesson. We'll just go with
Or,
curse.
as the French say, le curse. If you have an opinion on the 3-month curse, have you experienced it? Is there any light you want to shed on it from your point of view? Have we missed something about why this happens? Email us, podcast@MatthewHussey.com. We want to hear from you. This is an email that B sent in. Hi, Matthew. I have only today called time on my relationship with a married man. I cannot believe that I became involved. He lied online, and after 9 months, I discovered he was married. I don't know why, and it is something that I have frequently questioned, but I continued my relationship with him for over 5 years. Your podcast has really helped me today. Focus and everything you said reinforced my decision. I now fully understand why it has been so difficult to end it, although I have ended it so many times before. And that is from B. Thank you so much, B, for emailing in. It means a lot to us. And we've all done things that we look back on and go, I can't believe I engaged with that situation or that person for that long. I would never do that today. You know, how did I miss so much? Or how did the truth of that situation elude me for so long? It's, you know, I truly believe we're all going to have our version of that in our lives. And you know, it's a wonderful opportunity to practice self-compassion and self-forgiveness when we do that, and to define our character by what we do today rather than living in regret and shame of what we did yesterday. All right, it is time for Love Lifeline, where our Love Life coaching members get the chance to ask us a question on the podcast. For anyone, by the way, who is not a member, if you'd like to become a member of Love Life, you can go to joinlovelife.com. We have live Q&A sessions with me, with Stephen, with Audrey, a treasure trove of courses. Matthew AI is included, so you can get coached by me unlimited, as much as you want over the course of a year. So joinlovelife.com is that link if you want to become a member today. All right, let's play the message.
Hi, Matthew Hussey team. This is Elena. I have a question regarding relationships. I've been single for a while, and now I'm in a relationship. And sometimes there are situations where I feel like my boundaries are crossed or I get triggered. Usually I bring it up straight away, but I feel like it's taking a toll on the relationship. So I'm wondering, how can I bring things up that I don't like? And how often can I bring things up that I don't like before it is nagging or being overly critical? And would you say it's better to still be a little bit observing if this is the right relationship, or should I be more proactive and set my boundaries from the start, even though it has only been a short time? Thank you.
That's a really good question, Elena. Thank you so much for sending it in.
It's such an important question because it's, you know, how quickly do you bring up the things that you don't like? We can feel like we're being, like, immediately we're being the person who is nagging, this person who we're not even entitled to nag at this point. And we're like, or we're judging or picking apart this person's behavior, and we don't even know them that well yet. We're just in the getting to know each other phases. So do I quietly note that thing that I didn't like, or do I say something? It is a delicate balance. I'm curious, Audrey, because you're always really strong when it comes to boundaries. What's your opinion on how soon is too soon to say you don't like something? And I want to move on to the point about frequency as well. If she keeps getting triggered and now feels like, you know, what's the right amount of this to do? And is there a point at which I just say, well, this clearly isn't working if I'm getting triggered this much? We'll come on to that. But how early do you think is too early to say, I'm not happy with something that just happened?
I think very, very early stages, your kind of goal should be to have fun with this person, to work out whether or not you want to be with them, and to make a good impression. So unless it was something massively egregious, like, I don't know, they were really late for a date and didn't acknowledge it, or they, you know, got really drunk and were rude or something like that, something that made me feel really uncomfortable, I personally wouldn't necessarily bring it up. I would almost note it and like kind of bank it and just see if it happens again and if it's a pattern. And if it's a pattern, then I would at that point either decide whether or not I want to be with them even though this pattern is emerging, or whether or not I want to bring it up. That's my take. I think it's really important to communicate your standards, but I think standards are not about almost trying to change the other person. It's more working out whether or not we want to let that person in the beginning. And that's an important shift for us to make.
But sometimes we find ourselves in the difficult position of being like, I don't feel like what just happened is a big enough reason to stop seeing them. But if I don't air it, it's going to like now play on my mind and it's going to get in my way. It's going to hinder my ability to be present and be my normal, joyful, happy self. What do you say to people who, because that's what getting triggered does, that, right? It makes us feel like we're no longer able to be present and fully be ourselves. And our nervous system is craving the closure of having voiced this thing and having had that person put us at ease again. And then it's like, now I can carry on and be myself. I've had that moment so many times where, like, you and I have had those moments early on where I was like, you know, we've told the story before of like the time when I got jealous over something and then I went very quiet. And I remember specifically us walking down the street and me not saying anything and no longer being a good partner in conversation, and you knowing something was wrong and me not wanting to bring it up because I was like, this is too... I don't want to show that this has affected me, but I had been triggered. And then we ended up having a fight about it because I ended up bringing it up in a not so productive way about 2 hours from that point. All because, by the way, in that moment, I couldn't get myself to just be like, let me just note this and, you know, like see what happens. When we get triggered, it can be really hard to sort of rationally say, let me note this and move on, as opposed to I have to just get like I either have to get out of your company or I have to say something, and there doesn't feel like there's any option in between.
I think there's a productive way to say it, and I think two things. I think first of all, if you are getting triggered over something that isn't the other person's fault, it's kind of on you. And so I do think you have to be a little bit careful about, especially very early on, putting that on the other person. When that happened with us, you and I had already known each other for many months. And I think we were exclusive. And, you know, we were not at the very early stages where maybe you would have not felt so comfortable to bring that up. True. Because you wouldn't have been so invested. So I do think we have to check ourselves in the very early stages, because I think what we run the risk of doing is coming across like we're just nagging and picking. Having said that, I think there's a really good rule that I try to live by, and sometimes often fail, but I try to live by it, which is, and I don't want to take credit for this, I don't know where I heard it, but it's something that I heard somewhere and I've taken with me. It's like if something bothers me, I go, if this still bothers me 24 hours from now, then I'll bring it up. Mm-hmm. Because especially if you're someone who's very sensitive, lots of things can bother you. So in the moment, I would argue you and I are at the point in our relationship, our marriage, that I can just be like, when you said that, it upset me, and you'll go, oh my God, I'm sorry. And then we just move on and it's done. And it's very like not a thing. But in the early stages, it does often become more of a thing because you're kind of learning each other. And so I think that what I think is important to do is to go, you know, I'm affected by this thing. I'm going to hold on to it. And if in 24 hours time, I'm still thinking about it, it's still bothering me, it's affecting how I'm showing up, then I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to say it in a way that's like, can I talk to you about something? This is really silly and not a big deal, but I don't want to get resentful. And so I just, I want to be honest and just express how I feel. When you said that thing, it made me jealous. And, I appreciate that's probably just an overreaction on my part, but also like maybe the way you said it wasn't the most, sensitive way of addressing that. Like I hope you can see from my side how that would make me feel. And if you're with the right person, they'll go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I never meant to make you feel like that, of course. And they'll note that and they will work on that in themselves. If you're with someone who's, defensive or as a gaslighter, you might get a different reaction. But I think that's the nuance here. How long you've been seeing each other, how much of it is your stuff and not actually anything to do with the other person. And is it really something that's going to bother you 24 hours from now? Or are you just in the throes of the emotion? Do you just need to sleep on it? Which is a generic thing to say, but sleeping gets rid of the emotion and leaves you with the facts. And so sometimes it's just good to have a night's sleep. I do that with us. If you do something and I don't want to have a big thing about it, I'll sleep on it. And literally 8 times out of 10, I don't remember it the next day. Or I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And there was that Warren Buffett thing where he said, if you you can always tell your boss to go to hell tomorrow. So
I like that.
Pause before you send the angry email. You can always tomorrow tell them to go to hell, but don't send the angry email first time you have the idea.
I'd not heard that before. That's really good.
And I think the way you brought it up was the right thing, because something is nagging if someone it feels like they're just telling you things that are wrong with you. And that's when I think people go like, I don't want to be made to feel like this person doesn't like parts of me. Like, no one wants to feel like that. It's just like, well, sorry, that's me. So whereas if you can communicate, either look for a pattern, like this has happened a couple of times. So it is a pattern, not a one-off thing, and where I just felt impatient and angry, so I lashed out. But more like, oh, there's this pattern, and be specific, like when this happened, then it makes me feel like X, Y. Like I asked you to help me do the dishes and stuff, and you just didn't acknowledge it. And I felt like it made me feel like we weren't a team. In that moment you said, yeah, in a bit, and then you didn't tell me. Like really be specific about the chain of events. And that's when you can start a mature conversation. But if it just feels like you're always just pushing at everyone, every imperfection they have, everything they don't do that you don't love, then no one wants to be made to feel like they're not respected or not appreciated.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really good. I love those answers.
Can you talk very quickly, because I know we have to move on to Steve's story. But I really want to know about the frequency point, which we've kind of answered, but I just wonder if either of you have a point on that.
I think of this sometimes in the way that I think of a member of a team. Like if you're leading a team and one of those team members has done 4 things in the last 2 weeks that has bothered you, it may not be beneficial to have a conversation about all 4 right now, because one of them might be a very little thing. Another one might have been something that's like not that important, or it's a one-off. But there might be 1 thing or 2 things that are kind of the headline that it's really worth addressing. And rather than eviscerate someone around a whole bunch of different things all at once, it might be worth talking about the thing that you think is actually the biggest issue and see how that plays out and see how that person responds. It doesn't mean you can never come back to the other things, but it might be that the other things are not that, maybe they go away. Maybe they're not that important, or maybe taking care of the big thing might also have an effect on those things. But I do think to an extent we have to like pick our battles a little bit and recognize that it's not, we have to know the difference between the differences that really matter and the differences that don't. And that's where I think knowing the differences that matter, knowing the differences that are going to truly affect your quality of life, not the kind of differences that just feel a bit heightened because you happen to be in an inherently insecure stage of dating where the stakes feel high and you're a bit nervous and you're easily triggered and your anxieties flare up easily. And like if we're not careful, we can make someone responsible for making us feel safe and secure and, you know, like everything's fine in every given, in every moment. And I don't think we get to feel like that in the first few months of dating. It is an inherently, you know, challenging time in there is kind of like a push-pull to it sometimes. And sometimes like someone does in week 5 have a moment where they're like questioning things for a couple of days and you don't hear from them very much, but was just like a moment in time. And it's not that important in the grand scheme of things. You know, that plenty of people are happily married today who in the first few months of dating, there was, you know, a little bit of like, you were more into me this week than the week before, or you were more sure of me that month.
You called me a bit less this time. Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, you know, like, yeah, but that's my worst fear, is that they're not actually as into me as I'd hope in that moment. But this comes back to that feeling of, are you amplifying certainty, or are you damaging their certainty? Because that's what dating is like. You don't always know for sure that you're sure about someone. You're getting to know someone, and it's a process and it's a journey, and you can take, I think in dating, we can take too seriously the times where someone is not entirely sure about us. Like, instead of almost sometimes waving them off, like, oh, you're an idiot who doesn't know how great I am right now. Like, oh, you're the idiot who hasn't figured out that I'm amazing. I'll give you a few more hours or days or a couple more weeks to figure that out. I'm not going to take you too seriously right now. So anyway, that's how I think about it. You know, have humility, know that you're not perfect either. Be self-aware about your own triggers, and recognize, as you said, Audrey, when they're your triggers and you have to take responsibility for them. And when it's them, pick your battles. Get connected to the differences that really matter and the ones that don't, and focus on the ones that are the headlines. All right, it is that time.
Oh my Lord.
Play the theme song.
Don't be bereaved. You know that we can't leave without another episode of Steve Sleeves.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum. Steve Sleeves.
No, we have a theme song. You don't need to have a post-theme song.
It's
he can do what he wants.
feature.
It's his feature.
Thank you, Audrey.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Audrey's very on board with me lately with Steve Sleeves, and I love it.
What's this called?
This is returning to an old standby, and usually we do a brand new feature every time. This is new, but it's a twist. Happily 3 months after? ?
Ooh.
We have talked about Disney characters a lot, their relationship prospects, where the future is.
Okay.
Now we want to talk about the 3 months in.
Mm.
So producer David and I, he's not here, he's in LA at the moment, but we've come up with some scenarios of Disney characters facing a 3-month curse. And we want you to say if it can last, and how would you fix it if it can last.
Now, we did this before. How is this different from when we said whether they would make it before?
Because he's going to give us a scenario.
Because it's not just like, I'm giving you a scenario of a relationship challenge they're facing 3 months in.
Just let Stephen do his thing.
Okay.
You'll get
it. Ariel, Little Mermaid, and Prince Eric discover that communication around relationship logistics often has breakdowns. This has come to a head when Ariel forgets Eric's birthday.
Okay.
This has happened 3 months in. He should know. She should know. she knew it was coming up. They're already in the flush of love. You saw The Little Mermaid. And she just completely doesn't acknowledge it. He's waiting. He's excited. He thinks this woman knows me so well. Nothing. Not a sausage.
That's tough. Poor Eric.
Hurtful.
Yeah.
Is that a death knell or just a...
I wonder, I see, this is where I think what's really important is when he comes to her and says, hey, I know we've only been together for 3 months, but, you know, like, you didn't acknowledge my birthday, and I
don't know how they do things down under the sea, but...
Well, they're on land.
Yeah.
Up here, birthdays are a bit of a thing. I think...
I did not clock that. I was like, no, Stephen, they're on land at this point.
But, like, you know, it sucked that you didn't remember, and it kind of hurt my feelings, and, you know, I just wanted to let you know. How does she respond to that? Because if she's like, oh, you know, like birthdays, God, yeah, I was just doing this. I was like drying my hair.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
What she's like, oh, I am sorry about that. For me, birthdays are not.
Yeah, then I'd be like a little. Well, if she said no, there's
Is
a
that
way
better?
to do that.
Is that better?
No, if she said to, like, I understand that, like, I'm learning you right now, and I'm still learning what matters to you, and I didn't realize that birthday was a big thing to you, because, you know, where I'm from, it's not like in my family, it was never really a big thing. It was Sebastian's birthday 2 weeks ago. Didn't even say a word to him, you know, and it was fine. You know, he didn't even have a get together. Like, that's how we are with birthdays. But I'm starting to learn that birthdays are really important to you, and I really hear you, and I'll take account of that next time. That's all right. If she's just sort of like, oh my God, yeah, it was your birthday. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, like, we should do I'll take you for a drink this Friday or whatever. It's like, if she does that, then she's probably not got the emotional sensitivity and empathy to be able to actually, like, Eric is obviously a bit of a sensitive soul, and these things are important to him, and he's, you know, she's not going to be the person who really understands that. And maybe that plays, because she does, like, you could imagine Ariel being a bit of a, like, sort of
Taker, not giver.
And a bit, like, all over the place, a bit chaotic. She collects all these random
She's a free spirit
things. She hoards all of these, you know, things that are, she's a bit of a, like, collector who's just, like, all over the place, and is like, you know.
And Eric's like, I've spent the last 3 months trying to teach you how to drive, and you'll forget my birthday.
Oh my God, it's like me in my early 20s and Matt in his early 20s.
Yeah,
Eric
he's like
and Ariel.
he's on a ship, like, on highly coordinated, strategic adventures that the stakes are really high.
Works for some shipping company.
No, but he's, like, used to, like, that's not, he's not just, like, out there doing it for fun. He's
he's a shipping broker.
He's got responsibilities.
Yeah, he's got responsibilities, and he's used to things running on time and mattering. He's, like, needs to know where he's going in life, and she's down there collecting forks and spoons that fall in the water. And maybe she's, like, free-spirited, and he's ultra organized, and it just creates a lot of pain for him. So you just got to be careful. Do we say, what are we saying, cursed or not cursed?
Do you think they can break that curse?
Depends on her reaction.
Okay. Meg finds that Hercules is really insecure in his ability to advocate for his own needs. She loses a little respect in how much he lets Philatides walk all over him. It's been a month and Hercules still won't confront Phil about unremitted fight winnings.
Okay, let me just pick this apart. So, firstly, Philatides, for those people who haven't seen Disney's Hercules, is what's the name?
He's a trainer.
He's a trainer.
No, but what's the name for, he's
a fawn, half man, half goat.
There's a name for that.
I think it's a fawn.
Is it? Anyway, that's Hercules' trainer. So he's like keeping winnings. He's sort of ripping Herc off. Herc's not, like, he doesn't want to talk to him about it. He's scared, and Meg's losing respect for Hercules.
I think 3 months in, if you're losing respect, that's tricky.
Oof.
I do think that. I'm not saying that's the right thing. I'm saying, looking at it like how actually things play out. Like the right thing is obviously for her to be able to talk to him and do this and encourage him. And
he
you
is
know,
highly competent. He's good at fighting.
Yeah,
but I
Maybe
think
he's
if
in a
you're
very
losing,
toxic
but if you're
relationship
losing,
with Philatides, maybe he's like Philatides is a narcissist,
maybe.
and he's in a toxic relationship, and you know that Hercules for the first time is going to be around someone who's healing for that relationship.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying if you're losing respect, it's because you use that word. I think losing respect is a tricky thing because I think most people 3 months in are like, but then they
Yeah, but
did
don't
do
you
the
think
whole
she-
thing
but
where they
isn't
like gave their lives to each other.
But shouldn't she sort of check herself if she's losing respect so easily?
Yeah, but people aren't that introspective. She should.
So you're not saying, you're saying it's cursed because Meg is not that deep, not because Herc's done anything wrong.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you put this in modern dating, in a real scenario, but then again, they did give up their lives for each other and there's been quite a lot of intensity. So maybe that would save them.
I think
All these relationships start
Are we
quite
giving Meg
intense.
advice, or are we just saying whether it's going to work or not?
I think we're saying if you can fix it, and if you can, will it
Well,
last?
If he's competent in every other way, which he is, except he's being taken advantage of in this relationship, then there might be something Meg should.
She can actually help him.
She should,
She
yeah.
could be a healing person. In
She
his
might
life.
not because
But if Meg is already just like, if she's not like, wow, I have a lot of sympathy for like this is, he's in a very toxic relationship here. If she's gone straight to, I don't respect this man.
well, because Stephen said she's starting to lose respect. So I'm putting
So-
myself in her head.
So you're going to go with Le Curse.
She loses a little respect.
Oh,
She's
it's a
just
little.
bit like,
I think that, so you're going to say cursed because if she's already losing respect, then
I don't know.
all right. Meg
All
doesn't
right.
come off well in this one, I don't think.
Jafar finds that Hades won't take things seriously. He just made a joke about.
Well, can we just go back a
Jafar,
second? Because you've no one know if they didn't listen to the previous episode, they don't know.
All right,
that in this fan fiction, Jafar from Aladdin and Hades from Hercules
in our
are in a
show,
relationship.
yeah, in our show's fan fiction, Jafar and Hades are together.
Okay.
Jafar finds that Hades won't take things seriously. He just made a joke about Jafar's snake staff and has yet to apologize. Even though Jafar thinks he made it visible, he was upset at the comment.
Even though, wait, what?
Even though Jafar thinks that he made it perfectly visible that he was upset at the comment.
Hades didn't say.
Yeah, he just can't get Hades to like be serious. Like, I am annoyed about this, and you're just laughing it
They're
off.
cursed because they're two narcissists, and it's always a matter of time before that implodes. So,
Do you think Hades is a narcissist?
yeah, every
Yeah. Hades is
joker.
probably Hades probably qualifies as a vulnerable narcissist.
Yeah, he is, like, because he's kind of like a sad sack as well.
That's what I mean. You know,
like
he's like
Scar.
hard done by, and the world's against him, and he can't see that he's just an awful person who visits, you know,
Right.
cruelty on people. It's just like, oh, look what Zeus has done to me.
He's
true.
vulnerable narcissist.
Vulnerable narcissist.
And
Hades.
Jafar is just a
Straight up.
straight up.
Malignant.
Yeah, I think Jafar's just straight narc.
So that's it.
Yeah, I think so.
So, okay, fair enough.
Um,
So,
I'm ta-
wait, but that had nothing to do with the scenario. You just said they're two narcissists, so they won't work.
Yeah.
But you can't. You got to address the scenario.
someone's
Jafar.
laughing off. Someone's laughing off your attempt to say like that. It did
no,
actually
that's
bother
cursed.
me.
Cursed.
Yeah, because they're narcissists. That's why he's laughing it off, which is
Yeah,
not
it's
what
not-
normal
this-
people do.
It's not. This is not going to be. No one's healing in that relationship. It's just going to be. He's already being gaslit
Okay.
over something, and he's also, you know, Hades' job is to build up Jafar and make him feel good. Instead, he's making him feel stupid for his snake staff. That's like a trademark item of his. He's not accepting him for who he is.
It is a dumb item though.
Le curse.
If you can have a magic staff, make it do something better than that. All right, next one. Belle is concerned with her attraction level at the recently transformed Beast. She loves how well he treats her, but for the last month, she's found it a turn-off that he refuses to grow out his chest hair.
Do you know what's funny? Is that I think a lot of women, and please, if you guys out there agree with me, send an email, podcast@matthewhussey.com with the subject line, Beauty and the Beast.
Le curse.
But basically, I think a lot of people, a lot of women, girls, young girls, watching Beauty and the Beast were actually quite disappointed when Beast turned into a human. It was quite a disappointing
What did you
situation.
imagine?
I think he was too clean-shaven.
He was too blonde.
I think too blonde. It was a weird choice to have him go from being this, real deep
Dark-haired.
brunette beast, hairy, to clean-shaven blonde.
Yeah, you want him to turn into like Javier Bardem.
Right. He needed to be a little
Instead,
bit
he
of a
became sort of like a young Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
with long hair.
which isn't the beast. If you like Beast, you're not a Ryan Gosling guy.
Correct.
And he's very clean, smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, bit bony,
he was just not.
sharp elbows.
He was not quite sharp elbow.
So
She
basically,
she
there's
wanted
something
him to
she'd
grow out
like.
his
There's
chest
something
hair.
she would like,
Right.
and he's sort of not. He knows she'd be attracted to it, but I don't want to do that.
I think it's cursed because if she's doubting her attraction levels 3 months in.
3 months in is not good to be saying there's something physically I want to change.
Correct.
What's your stance on the chest hair thing? Do you think if he knows she likes it, he should grow it out?
I think so. If it doesn't, unless it really bothers him,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to make sure that if there's something your partner really likes, you kind of do more of that thing. But
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think you should be too proud about stuff like that. If you know something turns your partner on, I mean, they've given you a gift.
yeah, exactly.
It's a gift.
Tis a gift.
So use Lord of the Rings reference.
So I think curse. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thanks for playing, everyone. Da, 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 da.
Most of them were cursed.
I know. I feel bad about Hercules and Meg, but there we go. There we go, guys.
Well, it's been. I enjoyed that, Steve Slaves.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you, Stephen.
I think Steve Sleeves has made a winning comeback after.
Well, the people can let us know. podcast@matthewhussey.com. Let us know what you thought of this episode. Let us know what you thought of Steve's sleeves. Let us know what you think of Stephen's actual sleeves in
please.
life. And we will see you next time. Thanks, as always, for listening in.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Leave me a comment on this video before you go. I love hearing from you. And by the way, if you're watching this and you really want to find love and you see other people around you pairing off and finding what you've been looking for a long time, and you're feeling like, when's it going to be my turn? How might I be getting in my own way? Is there something I'm doing to sabotage my chances in this area? How can I finally find what I'm looking for? I am going to be helping people uncover their deeper patterns, understand their blind spots, and find what they're looking for this October at my retreat. If you haven't got a ticket yet, you can get your tickets at mhretreat.com. And don't worry if you can't make it to be there in person in Miami with us. There is a virtual ticket that means you can participate in this event and get the content from it from wherever you are in the world. Go check it out at mhretreat.com, grab your tickets, and I can't wait to see those of you who are coming.